I'm super excited to have a conversation with our top speakers. They are here to give us tips about how relaunch ourselves after difficulties that we have faced in life, and how to break from the vicious cycle that we have created in our mind and how it affected us negatively and we got stuck in it and there's no way out. So they are here to help us out. And since we are in the Alliance Française, I would like to take the opportunity to start by quoting the French philosopher Descartes. Je suis, je pense, donc je suis. Yes, so our thoughts dictate our actions, that we are what we think. So this is why whenever we start our journey or our day, our morning with a negative thought, our day will be full of negativity and we will say what is happening to us and why it's happening to us. It shouldn't be this way. So instead, let us start by praying, meditating, doing Reiki energy. Also, this is now, it's very famous, checking counselors, but don't leave yourself with a negative thought because it's a web. And once it starts with one, it can go on and on and on and you get stuck with it. So let me introduce our speakers. So Maje Ayida, is he here? Virtually, okay. And then we have Dr. Kaffy Shafau. Is she here? Okay. Okay. He's welcome. Hello. Hello. And also Lara, Yeku. Thank you for being here. So let us go through the bio quickly. Maje is a wellness coach and CEO of the award-winning health and fitness brand Eden Lifestyle. The brand's corporate wellness program services various industries in Nigeria, from banking to oil and gas. Maje is a columnist for 2 national newspapers. His radio show has impacted the audience by giving tips of healthy tips. And he is accomplished international speaker, influencer, mental health advocate, and writer, and is the current vice chair of the Spa and Wellness Association of Africa. Please give him applause. Dr. Kaffy Shafau is a Nigerian dancer, choreographer, dance instructor, and fitness coach. She is the best known for breaking the Guinness World Record for longest dance party. You should highlight this. We have to know about that. And then Kaffy has developed innovative visualizing-based methods for teaching dance and dance fitness in accelerated learning format. She created the dance workshop, a dance convention aimed at training and mentoring professional dancers and promoting cultural exchange within the Nigerian dance industry. And also you are very known for the Afrobeat trend, and you want to make it worldwide. I saw it on your YouTube also. And you will reach, I'm sure. And let me introduce now Lara Yeku, is a global HR leader, executive coach, mentor, international speaker, design thinking expert, and author who's recognized in the evolution of human resource management in Nigeria. Currently, she's the head HR food division at Flour Mills in Nigeria, and recently completed an executive education at Yale School of Management. Please applaud. Give applause. Lara has won several awards as highly respected HR through leaders, and she's now a member of the International Coaching Federation. So, welcome, everybody. So, hello. One of the most recent contributing factors to the rapid change in our environment is the remote work models. A lot of people have lost their jobs, have lost their loved ones, and they are physically and emotionally tired. So how, as a fitness coach, you tackle to boost their physical wellness in facing of the challenges?
Interesting, very interesting question. You know, one of the biggest takeaways from the pandemic was the onset of remote and hybrid work. And it's something that has actually stayed with a lot of people. I mean, a lot of you working in the corporate world now would know very much about this, coping with this new world of hybrid work or remote work. And while to the outside world, it might seem appealing to work from home, one thing that the pandemic taught us is that it raised a lot of mental health issues with regards to burnout, exhaustion, and honestly, a very challenging work life when working from home. And so one of my biggest tips to people who are struggling with exhaustion, with fatigue from this new work environment is really to learn to establish clear boundaries. Boundaries are very important. It's interesting because studies have been done, and what they found is that people spend longer hours dealing with work when working from home, as opposed to what people would think, which would be you would spend less hours because, of course, you're at home and more flexible. But what happens is that the lines between work life and home life become very blurred when working from home. And that in itself is what leads to conditions like burnout, to the mental fatigue that goes on, because people aren't separating the two. People are chained to their desks more. People take less breaks and try to log in more, especially when they have to account for the hours they spend working. Okay, so the optics of performance mean that you spend more hours working. So my tip is basically establish boundaries. If that means that you have to have clear working hours set within your own home, then you do so. You have a start time, you have a stop time. If you need to get dressed for work and get undressed from work at those times, then it's something that I would recommend, actually, because in your mind, it sets that boundary that you are separating the two. Another tip would be to have a cutoff point for dealing with work emails, dealing with work phone calls. Being very clear, I had an interesting experience once, actually. I went to a spa. Funnily enough, it was here in the UK, but it was a few years ago. And the spa manager, I went there for a discussion. The spa manager was very clear about the times that I could reach her on the phone. She goes, I can only be accessed from this time to this time and from this time to this time. And I found that interesting. And I'm like, how come you have that restriction? I mean, because that's not very many hours as far as work goes. And she goes, look, I have to set these clear boundaries so I don't fall apart, because otherwise I'll be taking calls up until nighttime, up until bedtime. And I won't have time for my kids. I won't have time for my family. I won't have time for my life. So it's very important to set these boundaries in your life that separate work and home, especially when you are working from home. That's tip number one. Tip number two, and I'll make this one very quick because I know we're dealing with time, is take breaks, schedule breaks. A lot of us that work from home sit at our desks and stay there for hours on end, okay? It's very important that you schedule breaks, 10-minute breaks to get up, walk around, refresh yourself. If you know how to meditate, very good, try it. But schedule these breaks in your day because honestly, that is the best medicine for your mental and physical health. I'm done talking.
So consistency is the key. You are not done.
Absolutely. Consistency is the key. Maintaining boundaries is the key.
This is what you have. And how do you motivate yourself every day to wake up and do the fitness, because sometimes this is what we as humans we lack. We say what we want to achieve this goal, and we said on Monday I'm going to stop eating, I'm going to do a diet, or on Monday I'm going to start my fitness, and then this Monday will come. One Monday you are doing it, and the next week Monday you are not doing it. How can we preserve this consistency? How can we train our mind to do that?
Wow, the lure of procrastination. This is a flaw for so many people, a majority of people actually, where we keep postponing starting a new life. You know, we just started a new year, and I have been very big on people avoiding getting caught up in New Year resolutions. And I'm going to start in January. I'm going to start this, and just start immediately. Just start where you are. One of the ways that I motivate myself, that I have stayed motivated, is to actually not believe in motivation. I believe in a lifestyle. I don't buy into motivation, because motivation is short-term, it's short-lived. I believe in understanding what my why is. Why do I exercise? Why do I do this? It's not because I love it more than the next person. It's because I have prioritized it as part of my survival toolkit. It is necessary for my survival. It is necessary for my health. So I prioritize it as such. Same way you prioritize eating, same way you prioritize sleep, same way you have to do these things. It's non-negotiable. So I don't make it negotiable. Now, the way that I keep going with that is to do things that I enjoy. I like to engage in activities that I enjoy. I recently just took up tennis. I'm probably going to add swimming to my weekly roster of activities. I just schedule activities and make sure that I do them because I need to do them. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. So people who are struggling out there with this, focus on how it makes you feel. Honestly, it makes a big difference. And I'd just like to say one more thing. Shout out to Dr. Kaffy. You know I'm your biggest fan. You know this, right? All right, it's really good to see you. I wish I was there.
Wish you were there with us too. So let me now ask Dr. Kaffy, as a dance instructor and fitness and health coach, maintaining a healthy lifestyle had become your mantra and had led you to become a business owner. What made you gravitate towards this particular industry? Why you chose it?
You mean a dance industry?
Yes.
Why I chose
yes.
That? Wow, okay. I'll say, first of all, I want to say thank you. And Maje, it's always a pleasure to be in the same environment when we have to do what we do. Mm-hmm. And I also want to, Uncle Ali, one of my greatest supporters, thank you so much for being here for Steph. I appreciate that as well. Mm-hmm. I feel that majorly is to break the norm. Mm-hmm. There's this box of being that's been created in the environment that I found myself, which is very common in the African home, is my being was being attacked by the idea of my value being placed in a box of you got to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer before I can see that you're a valuable child. And I was like, excuse me, but inside school, I see value. Like when I go to school, just being me is valuable in the environment that I am. But I'm coming home and they're telling me, no, we're going to have to dictate where that value, how it should be manifested. And I was like, but I'm manifesting by myself in school. And when I get to speak, I am selected the top speaker. When I get to march, I'm selected the captain of the march band. When I get to dance, I'm selected the one that represents the school. In everything that I am, I'm already manifesting. So I don't understand what you guys are saying that I got to be. But I left that till growing up because I was still deciding what I really, really wanted to be. So I said, okay, to satisfy the parents, let me choose lawyer.
You started, you gave them a chance.
Yes, okay. Then I entered secondary school. I was like, no, I love science. I love the idea of understanding how things become. And that's why I gravitated towards sciences. And I said, hey, I still have to answer these parents. Let me choose engineering. Wow. To get it. So I wanted to, I love science, physics, and all of that. So I went from there. Then as I was choosing, life chose for me, Nigeria, jam, everything. Yes, they were choosing how you go from left to right. So
the traffic.
they were helping me to choose the direction. And I was like, wow, it's time I choose for myself. Because it's life.
But you didn't know back then that this was your passion?
This was. Now, one thing I never realized, that what sustained my capacity to manifest was the ability to find a place where I could flow into. And that was dance. But I didn't recognize that as that.
You thought that it was a hobby.
It was just like, that thing I know how to do. And when I get angry, that's that thing I go and do. And when I'm sad, that thing I go on to do. And when mommy shouts at me, that's that thing I'm just going to go into the kitchen or the toilet, lock the door, and I'm just going to go and do that. But I didn't realize that was actually an instrument for that manifestation. So when I discovered with all the situations that was going on in life, and I found out that the only thing that has not failed me was dance. Like that was the only thing. Like,
doesn't drain you.
Look, it didn't have a plan. It didn't have a structure. It didn't have a university. It didn't have a lecturer for me. It didn't have anything. It just had, it works. I go somewhere with dance and I change lives. Like I come to a place and they're like, I want to work. You don't want to work out? Don't feel like working out today? You know what? Let's dance. And you get busted and you're like, thank you very much. Because of you, I worked out. Then I go somewhere else and there's a party and everybody is like dry. Everybody looking at each other. Right now it's no phone. Before it's just, who's going to be the first to dance at this party? And the next thing I'm up and everybody's up. So like,
you give the energy.
Yeah, there's energy, there's environment, there's positivity.
Your energy is contagious.
And I said, look, if everything is not working, let me establish through this industry. And that is what kind of like.
And in 2006, you discovered yourself. That's why you broke the record of dancing nonstop. Can you tell us more about this?
I didn't discover myself. I practically was trying to give something a voice that I believe in.
Yes.
And I was still in discovery because, let's just say I want to be a doctor. You go to university, you know where to go to. But I want to be a dancer in Nigeria. Where do you go to?
But this was the longest party.
That's what I said. When you said I discovered myself, I didn't discover myself.
I just
discovered opportunity. So the Guinness World Record was more of like preparation made an opportunity. It was just like I always trained. I always took care of myself, my body and mind and all of that. And here comes an opportunity to say, how long can you dance for? And I tied it to a purpose. I was like, what's the purpose of even dancing this long? And Ben Bruce was like,
how many hours?
55.
55 hours nonstop. Please clap for her. So, give her applause.
So much.
55 hours.
So the motivation was the purpose for doing it.
Of course, it comes in the mind.
Yeah, the purpose was Nigeria needed something positive. And I was like, I'm a Nigerian. And the date was set right in the middle of our country's Independence Day. And I was like, I must break it. I must break this record for Nigeria.
And your music is wonderful. It's becoming international and everywhere. Everybody wants to learn Nigerian music.
Nigerian music and
so
dance.
It has a beat. So I'm not astonished that you are doing that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So now let me ask Lara, as a global HR leader and executive coach who has mentored many people, how would you define resilience? And what are the key points that you advise employees to be resilient in this stressful environment? And how you are yourself resilient in face of humans that are full of emotion, anger, and stress?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's been really an interesting and impactful session all morning. Such an honor. Thank you so much. Well done, Steph Red. Such an honor to also see a lot of our celebrities live here. Thank you. So in response to your question, so when we define resilience, a lot of people usually would define resilience as your ability to bounce back. But for me, from my own personal experience and from my interaction with a couple of people that I've reached out to and I've coached, resilience is usually the capacity for you to restore back to your starting point, especially when you've gone through a stage of disruption. When Maje initially spoke about the heartbeat, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And usually people would expect that journey to success to be that straight, smooth road. When you move from one point to another point, the energy that you experience changes. It's just like when you're driving a car, you change gear. I mean, you want to accelerate from one point to another point. You want to change the speed of that car. It changes. At that point where you're changing, for some cars, you feel the cars will rev. What am I trying to say? At the point where there is change in dynamics of your energy that you are experiencing, no matter what situation, either positive or either negative, there is an element of resilience that pulls you through it. And that starts first from self-awareness. Listening to Steph's story and Mahaza honestly really touched my heart, because you must get to a point in your life where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. When it comes to the place of work culture, Bankole already also highlighted culture. We must get to a place where even in the workplace, we are being open and honest with ourselves, and we are able to find ourselves in the workplace. I was talking to someone recently, and we were talking about building leadership culture in her organization. And I asked her, you're trying to build leadership culture. Do your people even know themselves? Are they aware of their personalities? She said, no, it's just for us to put them in a class and then train them and they become leaders. And I said, it doesn't start like that. It starts from a place of self-awareness. For you to know who you are, what is your identity? Your understanding of how your experience has shaped who you are, how your environment, your understanding of the things you've been exposed to, how they influence who you are, is really critical when it comes to building resilience. It has to come from you accepting. I remember many years ago when I lost my mom, she was ill. I mean, that was about 22 years ago. She was ill and we were poor, we were in Ibadan. We didn't have much. And we took her to the hospital the day before. When we got to the hospital UCH, they asked us to pay 3,500 naira for her bed space. We could not afford 3,500. So we took her back home. And the next day she passed. Guys, a week after, the entire family raised 500K to bury her. These were people that we were calling, the day before for 3,500 for her hospital bill. They didn't have it. And suddenly 1 week after she passed, they had 500K for her burial. What left me at that point was I had severe bitterness for everybody in my family, because I felt when I needed them to be there, they were not there. And I got boxed in that situation for a while, even though it seemed like, okay, I'd moved on with my life. But I got to a point I said, I wasn't building the right kind of relationship with my family. I wasn't making the right impact I should. So I had to address it when I got to the point of self-awareness that there is a bitterness in my heart. And for me to break out of this, for my own progress, I need to address it. So resilience is that capacity to restore yourself back to where you've been from that state of flow, right? That's your state of flow where it's just who you are naturally. But with the events that happen around us, how we respond to them also matters. So building resilience is also more around your responsibility. How do you respond to situations around, especially in the workplace, where we have different people with different character, different players, different identity come to the workplace, and you have to interact with them. It's how you respond to what you get from them that really will pull you through in being someone who is very resilient in the workplace. And finally, for me, is your perception, right? How do you interpret things that happen to you in the workplace? In the workplace, we have lots of people who interact, and based on their background and based on how they've been conditioned, they come to the workplace and they talk to you anyhow. I mean, there was a lady who had reported someone to me and said she has a line manager who just talks to anybody anyhow. And when I engaged that line manager, he didn't see anything wrong in it, and that's the honest truth. When you grow up from a home where you are a first child, you got used to your dad yelling and shouting, you got used to your mom yelling and shouting, then you go to the workplace, you yell and you shout and you feel it's normal. Because your home, your family environment has made that habit normal. And then you go to the workplace and then you carry that your abnormal normal habits, you understand, into the workplace. And everybody's like, this guy is so toxic. and everybody's complaining. You're wondering, okay, what's going on? So I had to engage this guy. Unfortunately for him, like I said, self-awareness is important. He didn't see anything wrong in it. He's like, oh, I need to pass this instruction to this person, and this is the best way I can talk to that person, not knowing that it's rubbing off the other way around on him. I had to get to that point where I said, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. You need to understand how you communicate is absolutely wrong, even though you think is right, because that's your norm, but it's abnormal to yell and shout at people in the workplace. So that place of self-awareness, of course, we worked with him for a while. And at some point, we also had to put in place a program called leadership development plan to say, if in 3 months you don't change, then the business will have to take a call on you. So self-awareness is important. It's important. How we respond is also important, because you can't control what comes to you, but you can control how you respond and not react. And I think to just put that out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask also Dr. Kaffy, because as Maje, where he was saying that it's a therapy by itself, fitness and dance. Okay. And this is why everybody now is relying on the dance and relying on the fitness for their well-being, because the more they are well-being, they can produce more, productivity increases, and they will be able to have better relationship also with the people around them, and always be positive. This is what is most important. However, we have heard about Twitch. I want to just mention it very quickly about Twitch, the dancer. He's very famous, although he was making everybody happy by dancing and by performing, but he was unhappy from inside. As a dancer, what is your point of view about that? And as a dancer, how do you tackle this issue, and how do you make people, how can you recognize if someone is not feeling well, because nowadays there's a lot of people that are putting their masks and they are pretending that everything is okay and nothing is okay. That's why they need to ask for help whenever they are not okay, in order not to commit suicide, because nowadays every time I open the news, somebody is committing suicide, and he is very famous and he have everything and everybody envies him. So what is your point of view?
Oh, that question has layers to it. It's very deep, because you could be dancing to unlock a door, but other doors are shut and the dancing is not going through there. You could be just showing up. There's a difference between somebody dancing to heal than dancing to deal or dancing to perform. It's two different things. You understand what I'm saying? So in as much as dance can be used as a tool for therapy, for healing, you need to be on the healing journey with dance. I'm a dancer. I've been through ups and downs in life, but I have to show up for dance every day. I have to show up at classes. I have to make somebody else whose life feels so low, and I have to yell up at them because I am.
You have to take energy from this. From
me, yes. So
energy.
Yes. Now the beautiful thing about dance, I want to answer your question in two quick parts. The first part is understanding what dance is and why it has that much effect on our mental, emotional, psychological, and physical state. Is because naturally as human beings, we are meant to flow. We are meant to move. Without movement, life is a dance. Life is a combination of harmony of rhythms of whatever it is you're doing, whether it's work, thoughts, process, action. It's in a sequence. Everything is in a sequence of flow. That's why even if you're making a decision at the boardroom, just because you're writing, there needs to be a connectivity between this idea and that idea and that idea to create a sequence for a result to occur. It's the same thing with the principle of the body. The body needs to flow. Energy flows in and out and around us. You understand? So that's the reason why dance has so much power, because it is rooted in the essence of humanity, not just in the description of an art form. You understand? Because we are energy, we're a bond of energy. We know all the kind of energy we have. We are electromagnetic energy we express, and all vibrations. The vibrations, all are there. And dance harmonizes that by vibration and locks it in a physical state into the subconscious mind where the healing takes place. Now, for someone like Twitch, he is dancing and showing up as a job, not for healing. When I told you about a story as a child that I get hurt and I go to dance, I went to dance to heal. Not my mind. You understand? I went
because of your passion.
Yeah, because of the passion. I said, I want to feel better. I want to feel better. So because of that line, it's like doors. You take a medicine to this door and you shut the other door from that medicine flowing through. It's not going to work for that door. So you can still be happy, but still sad. Another very important thing we need to note is your real why. There's a why created by family. There's a why created by environment. There's a why created by circumstances. But do you know that the moment we were born, we have been separated from our inner child, from our true self, and the farther we are from that true self, the more we create mass to survive this world, this 3D world, and we forget the inner self.
Word.
As much as I had dance as my inner self, I still got distracted to perform, to express the understanding of its value, which also created a stunt, like a shunt in the growth of self for me. So like Twitch discovered dance, but dance led him far away from himself.
He did it not out of passion, maybe
Exactly.
just to please others.
Yes, and not even out of passion it can be, but passion sometimes the flame could be ignited by the wrong sources.
Of course.
Do you understand?
I want
So
to ask Lara also about this subject that we are talking. Do you think that being as a fitness coach and HR, would you integrate the dancing in the enterprises as a release, de-stress themselves? Is it because in Japan, for example, they do create ping pong activity to release their stress and to be more productive? At the end of the day, what the HR wants to have happy and productive employees?
Definitely, employee well-being surely does impact the business performance, business productivity as well. So from an HR angle, I'll start with my own story as an HR professional, busy executive, managing a conglomerate where we have over 6,500 employees situated in Apapa, for those of us who live in Lagos. So you have an idea of what I have to go through every day to get to work, between trailers and all of those. And with the intensity of the pressure of work on me, what do I do for my own personal well-being first before I talk about the employee? Is one, I am at a place where I am very intentional with my health. And one of the things that I do to distress, like you said, is what Kaffy just rightly mentioned, dancing. Sometimes I'll stay in traffic. So what I did was to find very good dance environment or dance school. I go to corporate dance therapy. I see your picture every day and you motivate me to dance, because I found out that, like you rightly said, we have to be intentional with our flow. When we go through a lot of activities every day, and you get to a point where you are choked, you get to a point where you are extremely stretched, you need to come to that point where you are finding yourself. You need to come to that point of peace with yourself, where you just have to let everything go and focus on just you at that point, which is your state of being. And dance helps me to do that. What I realize is when I distress as a business leader, I'm able to make better decisions for my organization. I'm able to live health. I don't get home and I'm cranky. I'm shouting at the maid. I'm shouting at the gate. Everybody's going, "Oh, mommy had a bad day today," But rather, I come home. I'm very intentional. If I'm really stressed, I just tell people around me, "I'm stressed right now. Please, can I go sleep? When I wake up, we can talk." Because it has to come from a place of where you are aware of yourself and you are very intentional. Now, if you take me as a being, now compare that to the workplace, like Bankole and YF, right?
Integrating.
Yes. So how do we now bring that? How would you allow people come to work with their whole self? People come to work, they're excited, they're happy. It starts from a place of purpose, finding their why. I say to people, when you pick up a job, you're not picking up a job to do an activity or to just take on responsibility. You need to know why your job exists. Because if you have clarity in terms of your why, it helps you come to work knowing that I'm coming to make an impact to contribute to the overall goal or overall strategy of this organization. And that changes everything for you. Also, it's very stressful going to Lagos every day. When you get to the workplace, what are the initiatives that the business have to put in place so the employee can distress, or it also helps
to motivate them?
Yes, to stay motivated. It gives them in that state of psychology, their environment. How does the environment also impact them? I remember one of my mentee got a job from one organization, and he said when he got there, he saw that they sit on plastic chairs. I'm like, no, I can't sit in this kind of environment. I've seen someone who went for a job interview, and after she had picked up the offer, she asked the receptionist if she wanted to use the restroom. And she went to the restroom. She literally ran back and came back to the receptionist and said, please, is there any other restroom? Said, no, that's the restroom, all of us. This is the restroom. Please take your letter. I'm no longer interested. And she left. What am I saying? So the work environment also have to enable employees to be at that state where they are able to give their whole self. Their mental health is important, their emotional health is important, their psychology is important. So the workplace really have to enable this so employees can be productive and then definitely will impact the business.
So one day you will tell Kaffy to join you for
Sure. We have initiatives. Sure.
Like the dance therapy and theater therapy.
Quickly to what you're saying, what you mentioned about when we mentioned the Twitch and some people like that.
Yes.
Do you know that some people actually start off with what they love, with the right passion, and everything gets it to the place they never thought they would get to, but plateauing sometimes and the fear of evolution. Okay, I'm here.
They got bored.
What's next? Oh my God, I'm this big, amazing, popular, global, but I feel that I'm more. There's a force pushing me to say, discover more, but I'm like, if I leave this spot.
Comfort zone.
Yes.
You are talking about
so that fear sometimes
and
that fear will overwhelm you and you start devaluing yourself
and depressed
and you start getting
being depressed.
Yes.
This is the fear embedded in us from our value system: fear of leaving, fear of abandonment, fear of leaving your comfort zone, fear of being rejected. And this is what restrain us from achieving our goals. The moment we set and we say we want to change, and it doesn't come as they mentioned before, it's Maje, she mentioned that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Because if you reach what you want to reach, it doesn't give you any spice, you will not enjoy it. But if you suffer and you have pain, and this is where out of misery, a rebirth will come. And this is where you will be very happy and you will achieve the inner. And as also Steph has mentioned about what happened to her, the catastrophe, the traumatized when she had to leave her job. And this is what brought her today. And this is what she's doing out of passion. And well, this is her happiest place. And I asked her yesterday on the phone, I asked her, if you go back in time, and because she suffered a lot and she got depressed after they fired her, I told her, if you go back in time, what would you do? She said, this is what I wanted this is where I want to be. And it happened for a reason. So there's a saying in Arabic, لا تكره شيئا لعله خيرا لك, that everything happens for a reason. So whatever we are today is because of a reason, and out of misery, there's a rebirth. So I like to thank.
And my final words to everybody here. I want to call it my own personal rema, but I want to share it with you today. And we've heard this thing, especially preached in churches, where they said the temptation where Jesus Christ was at the wilderness, and the devil came to tempt him. And I took him to a high mountain and said that I'll give you the whole world. And Christ's response was not that the devil was lying. His response was like, what profits a man if he gains the whole world at the expense of his soul? I don't think we understand what Christ was really saying there. I don't think we understand. I think we're just seeing it as the decision we make, what profits if I make a bad, no, it's about good and evil. No. I think it was a major confirmation of the single value of who you are against the entire world. Meaning that my dear sister here can be riding her Range Rover and I can be in my bedroom slippers. And with all that she has gathered as an ornament to create value for her, I standing in my bedroom slippers, I am as valuable as the whole world in that naked state.
You'll be happier.
That's what I'm saying. So I want everybody out there, whatever it is you are fighting, you're only fighting something that has been pre-programmed ahead of you. But in your natural state of programming, you are worth more than the world. 6-point-something billion galaxies living in one human being. That is what we are. Do you understand? So never doubt your worth, no matter how.
Or don't compare yourself to others. And don't compare yourself. And be the best self
Please a round of applause
Thank you
for
so much.
for
Thank you so
Dimma, for Lara, for Dr. Kaffy, and for Maje.
Great. While you're taking your photos, I'll just, sign out and say thank you to everyone. I'll just add my final words to this. I think that one of our biggest struggles in life, and people and everyone has, is separating our expectations from our reality. We separate that a lot. And one of the best bits of advice that I got from my older brother was to learn to work with what I have in my hands. And that was life-changing for me, because it helped me to understand that what I expect in life, my expectations, will not always meet my reality. Learn to work in your reality. Learn to understand your present moment. Most of our stresses and anxiety resides in the future or in the past. So the better we can work on coming into the present moment, the better we will all be in managing and coping and being more resilient. Thank you.